Welcome to Coach the Coach, an experience that helps coaches and business executives unlock their leadership potential. Your host, Coach Clark, will sit down with successful athletes, coaches, and entrepreneurs to tap into their knowledge, their lessons learned, and their best practices to lead those around you.
When it comes to last season, I mean, dude, you guys were, I wouldn't say came out of nowhere because it's kind of like the progression of the team definitely happened while you were there. But I mean, to win the entire freaking conference, that's huge. So with these dudes, like, and with all of them, like, how did they impact that?
I think my inner circle, like, which you included, when we talk lacrosse, like, you say that, it wasn't a surprise.
Yeah.
But to the people, because, and that's only because I would talk about this team.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I knew what was coming back, knew that the culture was in place and whatnot. But, for the teams that we played against, they had no idea what hit them.
Yeah.
Like, if you took a look at our scores, we're putting up 15, 18, 20 goals on people. And at the end of the game, like, Coach, hey, you and your staff are doing a great job over here.
Yeah, but I mean, you were essentially put into that role as an interim head coach. Is that correct?
Yep.
So when you're thrown into that role, like, I mean, that's huge. Like, you took over an entire program. Like, so how did, like, going back to that, I mean, like, what was the path that led you to that? And, like, I mean, really, what were you feeling? Like, you got put in as an interim head coach. So when you hear that, of course, it's like, is this temporary? Like, where were you at in your head with all of that?
So, before I was the head coach, I was assistant there for 5 years, doing the defense. And the coach at the time, Coach Lawrence, he got an opportunity to coach at the Division I level in the fall. So he took the opportunity, and I got the bump up to the interim. And one of the first things I knew I had to do was find the right assistants.
Yeah.
And one of the battles I had as an assistant was it was just me and the head coach. And for two coaches to 40 to 50 guys, that's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's huge that you say that, because I see time and time and again, and of course me just coaching at the high school level, is that there are people leading these programs of, I mean, of course you name it, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, 50, 60 kids with, I mean, two coaches or three coaches. Now you're at a collegiate level. And of course, one of the things they say when it comes to business or leading is that someone can typically only effectively lead someone with 3 to 4 people at a time. Sometimes you can go 4 to 8, depending on where you're at and the dynamic. So when it was just you two leading, like, how did you structure all of that?
It was kind of like, because I was part-time coach.
Yeah.
But, one of the things that I helped do to alleviate some of the head coach's burden was I would come in the off season a couple of days of the week, because he had a family, kids, so he wanted to go, make sure he's home for dinner with them. And we, if you're a coach, this is a rough lifestyle.
Dude, it's rough.
You're not home a lot. You're putting in maybe 12-hour days and whatnot.
Yeah.
And luckily, at my point in life, I'm a single guy, so I could go in and do whatever I want, and have the freedom to go checking in on our players and making sure that the grades are okay, and making sure their mind is right.
It was just you two.
Yeah, it was, for the most part, it was just our two. But my last year as an assistant, we did add another assistant, and Coach Martinez, he was a big help for us, and we realized that having an extra hand was a big piece of what needs to be successful moving forward.
So with the culture that he put in place before he checked out, when I say I don't mean that negatively, of course, but before he moved on to Division I, the culture that he put in place, what have you kept and what have you changed?
What I've kept was making sure that our guys stay the track of schools first, focus on our grades. Let's do the best we can and graduate in 4 years.
Yeah.
That was the number one emphasis that he put on off the field, and I knew I had to make sure to keep that standard.
So pretty much graduating and being successful in class.
Yeah, because it's, especially at our school, it's hard only because it's for the most part it's a regimented school. I know we talked about the military before, but it's not an obligation.
Yeah.
But, these kids are waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, have to do the formation thing. And it's only because our school teaches, does a good job of teaching what's going to happen when they go off in their actual jobs in the boating industry.